already know where there's smoke, there's fire, and where there's fire, there's always a headline or news to be made. But before we even get into that, I see that we got Baby Watch. We got Baby Watch, Sylvia Witt Kelly. Big shout out to you. And the new little one that is soon to be in this world. I see that the water has been broken. She is in the delivery room. And I am hoping and praying, as well as I am sure most of our family, if not all of our family members are, that is a successful, safe, and beautiful, happy baby to come into the world, into this family. So big shout out to Sylvia Witt Kelly. Big shout out to Casey. Hang in there. A lot of sleepless nights ahead of you, but it's all worth it. Now, let's get into this. We already know we got to see who's first, second, and third in the live chat podium. And the first person is Paul is first. Huey Dewey, you would be second, so you're second off on a contingency plan. But as far as badge members, Mary Beanie is second, as you see right there. And Sylvia Witt Kelly is third. Huey Dewey, always good to see you in the mix, though, my brother. Always good to see you popping in on time or sometime early. Bejan, how you doing as well? And Galactus, an incredible facts question here. So we got Toto Wolf boarding Max Verstappen's private plane. Now, when I saw this, I said, damn, Toto going to all type of new levels right here to try to get this Max signing. I mean, he going to all types of new levels. This is, if Toto Wolf is doing this is what you call just not giving a damn. I mean, on a whole nother level. This is a whole other level. This is next level, don't give a damn. I'm on my knees begging you, please type situations. Okay? If Toto Wolf indeed had done this. But what I do find out, and what has been also circulating and amongst the social media platforms, is that this indeed is a fake. And that's crazy. It's a good fake. It's a fake. I think it's a fake. They used an opposing image of this. Looks pretty credible. And supposedly, this is the real image of Toto Wolf boarding his own plane, not wrapped up in the Max Verstappen. Now, I don't know. I'm looking at this like, which one is the fake? And this one does kind of look like the fake. I can say that. Things here look pretty similar in the image as far as the consistency around the contrast, the clarity, the sharpness. They all look consistent here. And then when you get to this image, that does look a bit funny. It looks a bit funny, especially when you bring it up a little bit bigger. It looks like that might indeed be cropped, amassed and then kind of put in there. Easy way to put the jet in there. Most jets are going to have similar body features, so you could put Toto in there anyway. But when it comes to this image, yeah, I do think this is a fake. But it is not to be said or not to be left out that indeed Toto Wolf has been on the Max Verstappen chase. Okay, he has been on the Max Verstappen chase. And right now, just putting Russell in a spot. It's putting Russell in a very awkward spot, because any seat that is available ultimately right now is probably not a seat he wants. Ferrari wouldn't be there. The only open seat that he can even imagine sliding into is if Red Bull were interested in having Russell come from there, because Max would leave Red Bull and go to Mercedes. And technically that would make Russell the number one, because they don't, after Max Verstappen, they haven't done a very good job of developing a strong two that will become the next succession plan of a number one. So Russell coming into that team would be a number one. What's up, Wildcat? What's up, Just Sean? What's up, Miss Dino? So that will leave Russell there. The other team, we already know there's words or there's news out there about Valtteri to Alpine, and I'm pretty sure Russell is not going to want to go there. He's experienced what it was to be in a lower team with Williams at the time, where they were less competitive than they are now. And I don't think he wants to go somewhere where he probably would see it being just as bad as the situation he's in now. And then getting a Mercedes power unit would be like the only plus. But come on, Flavio, Alpine, they're just not together. And Russell at this time in his career wants to be somewhere where he can try to at least compete. And I don't know, everybody wants a championship, but hell, at least compete, be one of those top 5 drivers there. And then we got Max Verstappen. And we all know the bombshell that dropped: Christian Horner fired, sacked from Red Bull. And was this a move to inevitably make Max and his dad happy. So hopefully they don't keep entering into conversations with other people about leaving the team. Was this a Red Bull, desperation move to say, hey, we'll fire him. We'll get him out of there. If that's gonna allow you to feel comfortable and more secure with staying with us versus leaving us, then we will get rid of him. When Red Bull makes a move like that, when you make a move like that, anybody makes a move like that, you're really taking a bigger risk. You're taking a big risk because if you fire or you remove or you agree to said objectives, that still doesn't make the other person think that it's 100% a lock. Because what if you do this and you have done this, Christian Horner is gone, and then Max Verstappen feels as if I still see some things that I don't think you're going to be on top of next season. I still feel like Red Bull can't give me a perfect, most dominant car that I've ever had, and the only other type of car I was able to win in. Let's just keep it a buck. He's only able to win in that. And he hasn't necessarily done what everybody had campaigned that he could do in something of less competitive nature. And what if Max Verstappen decides to bounce anyway? I don't really care for Christian Horner and his antics, but as far as team principles, as far as a team principle functioning in that way inside of Red Bull's organization, who else are you going to get? Who are you going to get? Now, Max is gone. Christian Horner's gone. Adrian Newey's gone. Wheatley's gone. Several other key members that are in development and engineering team are gone. I told you all that this would happen. I told you all it always does happen. And I told you all that I was always concerned that Red Bull would not be able to overcome what they had already achieved, which is 4. And it looks like that's exactly what it's going to be. 4. 4 with Vettel, 4 with Max. I really do hope that Toto Wolf gets his wish. I hope that he gets Max Verstappen. I hope he lands Max Verstappen. I hope he gets everything that he wanted plus whatever he didn't account for. Because what I will say is, although very successful during those 4 seasons, the FIA and Red Bull created such an environment and a situation that inevitably did not let them continue on being successful. You aided in a driver who developed a characteristic more so, because it was already there, of an asshole. A driver who became a petulant child on the grid, a driver who thought he was above and seems like he is above the standards to which every other driver is held to by the FIA, and a driver now who does not appreciate and cannot stay committed to you while you will be on your down years. Max Verstappen is going to bail. He is going to bail. If he doesn't bail, I would be surprised. Now, are there some things there that Max Verstappen would say, hey, I do want to stay at Red Bull for several reasons. Several reasons, right? One, I want to stay within Red Bull because Red Bull has plenty of opportunities for me to participate and compete in other series with Red Bull. I don't just have to do Formula One. And Max Verstappen said as much to a degree talking about that. All right. Now, we already also have heard, if you haven't, that PK Jr. may have replied in such a way that he kind of opened the lid on the conversations or the negotiations going on behind the scenes with Max Verstappen and Mercedes. Asked whether a sabbatical could be on the cards or if Verstappen would definitely be on the grid, PK Jr. replied he will be until August. He needs to have made a decision. They will either get the final details right or not. But I think it would be pretty cool to switch or stay. To switch is what he said. All right. So I think some people take this conversation and I think they really blew it out. Honestly. I think they blew it out around this time. Even big outlets start reaching and striving for straws for anything that they can do to keep interest. And it is interesting. But I don't think it was necessarily a poor choice of words or a revealing mistake. I don't think any of us didn't think that Toto Wolff and Max Verstappen were having conversations. In fact, we all have seen pictures in the paddock of Jos Verstappen talking to Toto Wolff. What do you think they're talking about? Good times? No. That's Max's temperature of the grid, of the paddock. That's basically his manager. Like, Jos is going to go around trying to fill everything out. And he's somebody that does that. All right. He's been in several disagreements with Christian Horner. He's been in several, this is my child, I need you to do this type situations. He's not necessarily the best person to have in that spot, but he is somebody who is not literally going to always hide behind the cameras and while making something happen. I'm going to tell you, he does that intentionally. Jos Verstappen knows what he was doing by sitting out there having conversations with Toto Wolff. He knows what he wanted out there. He knows the information that he wanted to be speculated upon. He knows this. PK Jr., I mean, he's just another culprit in one of the biggest scams in Formula One history. Just became a whistleblower because things didn't totally turn out his way and decided to just give it all up. And I'm hoping one day, not that we already don't know, but somebody that was literally involved in AD 2021 scandal might come forward and say, this is exactly what was going on. This is exactly what was said. And then we only need a few words. We only need a few words to see that, okay, this is what they had done. Even if they don't, it still was one of the biggest mistakes made in Formula One that went uncorrected. And now, even as much as we are talking or discussing the Max Verstappen trade with Toto Wolff, when the trade's done, it's not going to be bigger than Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. There's more talk about it now because it's more messy, right? Lewis and Ferrari were a bit more discreet on how they were handling their negotiations. We kind of heard something and then we just kind of speculated at it. There wasn't a bunch out there. There was more questions than there was quotes being made. And then it happened. It happened and then it was a bombshell. This is just messy leading all the way up. And honestly, this started all with Lewis leaving and Toto getting in his feelings and now trying to get Max Verstappen. I think, honestly, this entire situation, thankfully it did, led to Toto Wolff giving Antonelli his opportunity, because I don't think if this situation doesn't happen the way it happened, Antonelli is getting his opportunity. I think Antonelli lined up perfectly with Toto Wolff's wants and desires that were never fulfilled when he did not initially get Max Verstappen, because we got a team that has two teams, 4 cars and 4 drivers on the grid at all times, which is Red Bull. Having the opportunity and having the luxury of 2 teams, 4 cars, to let Max Verstappen get on the grid early in a car right now and not be in a backup or reserve driver role like Felipe Drugovich has been stuck in for the past few seasons. So, yeah, I think that Antonelli having his opportunity, all of that motivated Toto Wolff to make a quick action and decision on that. And I'm glad he did, because Antonelli out here is looking very nice, very promising. I'm enjoying seeing the situation. Now, he's had a few rough races recently, haven't really gone his way. Some things out of his control, some things by error of him being a rookie, and that's totally understandable. But nothing that has happened with Antonelli would have me diminish his possibilities of becoming an even better driver. I can say that. All right. So if Toto Wolff gets Max Verstappen, we already know that indeed Russell will be out of the door. We know Max Verstappen's contract is till 2028, but we all know things written on paper sometime are meant to be ripped up and recreated. And we all know that we got clauses out here, and there's all speculations about Russell doing things for his clause, Max Verstappen doing no. I don't necessarily don't know if now we all know where there's smoke, there's fire, so something's going to happen. I don't know if Max Verstappen is with Red Bull in 2026. I don't know. And honestly, I hope he is. But what I will say is this. I have to give Mercedes credit where credit is due. When it comes to engine change regulations, they have been pretty good at what they do in a new regulation of era that the power unit has been impacted. So it's very possible that Mercedes comes out next season and they might be ahead of other teams in that development. Now, as far as the aero package, they failed miserably at that coming into ground effects. So not too confident on them there. But yeah, I do hope that Toto gets everything that he's looking for and more. I hope that when if and when it happens, he brings Max Verstappen in, he sees that what you had was the best you will ever have, and you'll never get anything close to it in regard to Lewis Hamilton. That will be the best driver, likely unless Kimi Antonelli comes up, which we have plenty of time to see if that's going to happen. That likely will be the best all-around driver you will have ever had in your entire career in Formula One as head of a team. And Max Verstappen, while you believe has all the upside and he's younger and more years in front of him within the sport, you may very well find out, even with more years in front of him, still might not be as good as the years in front of Lewis Hamilton. Maybe I should have done a bit more. Maybe I should have done a bit more in that boardroom meeting. Maybe I should have went a bit further. Maybe I should have dropped my balls on the table a bit heavier. As much as it would have hurt, maybe I should have done that. Just maybe. But everything does happen for a reason. Now, whether those reasons benefit you or align with what you need to have done in your life for career goals, that's to be determined. We got a lot of other things. GP not there during a race. Christian Horner's gone. There's a lot of things happening. Now, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Hannah, she going to be out of there? Column's gone. People are leaving Red Bull. Some of these people are not just leaving Red Bull because they got better offers. Some of these people are leaving Red Bull because they're getting tired of the toxicity and maybe they just decided I can no longer be part of the Slytherin House of Snakes anymore. I just can't do it. I cannot be part of the Slytherin House of Snakes anymore. It's just too much energy. I thought I could. I thought I was one of you all, but I soon found that this suit that I am wearing to be in this snake pit, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. So we shall see. We got Spa coming up next week. Very excited about that. It's one of my favorite tracks, and we will see what happens there. Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari all have something to prove, and McLaren just have to do what they need to do to stay out in front and keep running and gunning. But those other three teams do have something to prove. Mainly to their drivers. I'm not even going to speak on us. We're going to watch regardless to a degree unless something just totally heinous happens, which some of you all are not tuning in to Formula One. You're tuning in to outlets like this to try to get a fix or get a beat on some things that are going on because some of you are quite tired of Formula One and their antics to the point where you don't want to watch. You don't want to give them the views. And what I can say is the 2025 season is nice. 2026, I'm looking for it to be better. But I was just thinking the other day that We Races One campaign sure did die. It sure did die. That We Races One campaign sure did die. Just wondering where the push for that is. You know, there's a lot of things that Formula One did that they just can't explain away or just let go by the wayside that I don't recall. Like, you all have done some pretty backhanded shit. I'm going to say it like that. You've done some pretty backhanded things. 083 in the super chat, putting his name in the hat for 2024 Formula One Topps Chrome Trading Cards. That's going to be real interesting when we rip that. Says, okay, you bring Max Verstappen, a selfish, petulant little child whose driving style is only for him, and I never seen it or him help the other driver. Facts. Matter of fact, let me caps that. Big facts. What are you going to do? You're going to become like Red Bull, a one-driver-centric team? Are you going to let Max Verstappen... 083 makes a very good point. Max Verstappen has never at any point proven or shown us that he is somebody who a younger driver can go underneath and learn, can at least be taken in, arms out wide, say, let me show you what I know so you could be a better you and we could be a better team. That's not Max Verstappen. And I already said it when Haas was getting Ocon and they had Behrman. I said, I'm not sure if Ocon is the best situation for Oliver Behrman because Ocon shows you what he does on track. Although fair, across the grid, he's going to have elbows out and wide, but to a detriment within the team, it's even bad. And we saw that with Gasly. We've seen, I think it was a little bit more with Gasly because of the situation in the past that they had and even the present, that they really weren't the best of friends after they had their situation in kid karting, and then it just festered and grew over time as they turned into young men and to men now. And it was just a dumb-ass decision by Alpine. You know, Rossi and Almar just, I don't know what the hell they was thinking there. I just thought they could be the big peacemakers, and that didn't work. But now you got Ocon with Oliver Behrman. I told you I just didn't think that was a good situation for Haas. We just saw him do the dual pirouette, old Haas ways this past race. And Ocon has just never shown me that he's a driver that can mentor a younger driver. So I wasn't really on board with that. I would have been more on board with Nico still being there with Oliver Behrman versus Ocon being there with Oliver Behrman. Just saying, because Haas seemed like they were having some upside. And Ocon was going to get a seat regardless because I think he earned that seat. I think he earned another opportunity in Formula One. But it's just, it almost, honestly, it would have been, to me, even more sensational for Kick Sauber to have Bortoleto and Oliver Behrman. I mean, you don't really have anything going on for yourself this season except recently, I mean, Nico getting on podium. But outside of that, it would have been more sensational for them. Means they're waiting for Audi. But yeah, I would agree with anybody who would say Max Verstappen coming into Mercedes won't be a positive for Kimi Antonelli. It just won't. And big shout out to Sylvia Wick Kelly. Is the little one born yet? Sylvia Wick Kelly, has a little one entered this world yet? Are we now celebrating the arrival of a new baby? That's what I want to know before we continue. I want a temperature check on that. Are we celebrating a new arrival of the baby yet? Not yet? Or yes? We'll wait for that to come out. So this is where I am on that. Toto Wolf is going fully to bat for this. I'm not sure if there's going to be an announcement by Spa. I'm not sure if there's going to be an announcement by the summer break. But at some point in time, there's going to have to be some announcement. And that's either Russell is signed. Okay, we're still waiting. Roger that. That's either Russell has signed his extension, his new contract, or Russell's not, and we're still going to get a lot more puffs of smoke of Max Verstappen and the Mercedes talk. That's pretty much where we're going to be right now. I don't think the big news will drop about Max Verstappen signing with Mercedes for 2026 before we get to Spa. And if it does happen, that'd be crazy. That would be crazy to happen because, I mean, it puts Russell in one or two positions. Either you're going to shit the bed because you're going to show him, I'll show you, or you're going to do the best you can in a car that is one of the better cars on the grid to put a better resume together for yourself, so somebody else is going to give you an opportunity. And I hate to say it, I would hate to tell Russell this, but you're going to have to swallow shit and do the best you can do with this opportunity because you need to. That's just the way it's going to go. If Russell takes a crap and does horrible by trying to be vindictive about not getting his contract and them deciding to sign Max Verstappen, Russell, just get your management team to work as hard as you can to switch over to Red Bull. Maybe this is going to be a new chapter of Red Bull where you can lead Red Bull into a scope of better enlightenment. Maybe, right? Max is gone. Joss is gone. Horner's gone. Wheatley's gone. Helmut Marko, can you please get gone? And Hannah Smith, maybe she stays around, and maybe Red Bull takes on a different look with all of the regime change, and maybe pick up a few more spectators and fans. That maybe this toxic cesspool is starting to be filtered out, and it might be a team that I can feel comfortable supporting, right? Not me myself, but I'm just talking about people. There's maybe people. But Maybe even me. I like Hadjar. He's a Red Bull driver, and I like Hadjar. And if Hadjar had to drive and go up for the Red Bull team, I still would be like, I like Yuki. And Yuki's a Red Bull driver, so I don't know where people think that I don't like drivers that drive for Red Bull. I like Yuki and I like Hadjar, especially Hadjar. It's just I don't deal with shady-ass people. There's some shady-ass people over there. Unfortunately, they starting to leave out or get fired or canned, but that's just the way it is, people. So we'll see what happens. Big shout out to Sylvia with Kelly and Casey. I'm hoping for that baby to arrive safely. Do not forget, we will be live more. We will have a Wolves Den this weekend to talk about anything that does come out, anything Formula One and whatever you want to talk about in Formula One regard. We had a very good conversation this past the weekend. Where did we go live? I think we talked Tuesday or Wednesday or something the weekend because we went into on the Horner situation. Incredible Fast Quest says Max going to Mercedes is going to be a spectacular disaster. Very well put, sir. Very well put. And congratulations, 10 months of membership. Incredible Facts Quest. You rock for that. Soon, watch. Soon, brother, you're going to be blue badge, purple badge. You're going to be here, man. You're going to be an OG in the community real soon, man. 10 months of membership. Congratulations. You're 2 months out of your year. And that'll be awesome. We will celebrate you when that happens. It should be announced in the live chat. And don't forget, we do have the fans. What do we have? The fans qualifying when we have the live qualifying stream. So we will have to see who will be in the pole position again. That has been absolutely fun, and we've been enjoying that. So big shout out to you all. We will be live again. Stay healthy, drink water, and be safe. See you on the next one.